Hello, my name is Mit Patel, and I did a project on creating an AI with checkers board game, and I'm the only one in my group. To start off, I am here to explain the checkers board game I created first, and then the AI implementation that I did. So, in order to create the checkers game, I used the module PY game. It allows a 2D representation of any video games that you want to create, and I use that for my project. Um, the game basically will allow a user to select the red pieces through this function and move them. And once that's done, their turn is done, the AI will go, which are the black pieces. To go in more detail, I will show you each functions that I use to create this program. Starting off with a checkerboard, this is an internal representation of the checkers board that I use to keep track of all the pieces. And for each piece, I split the pieces into red pieces and black pieces. For each piece, I created an object that held useful information like their colors, their color name, row, column, the position they would be in, and whether they're a king or not, and how to calculate position. Starting off, I just drew the checkers board, the background first, using the GUI Games rect method. Next up, I used the create checkerboard method. This allows me to create the internal representation of the checkers board. So for every row and every column, I am I'm adding a red piece object into the appropriate spot, or I'm adding a black piece object to the appropriate spot. And so this entire internal representation game is um, created inside a 2D list. This function or method just simply allows us to draw the pieces when we have them, so onto the board. And it also keeps track of if what the game condition or the win condition is. If all the pieces are whichever side of the pieces are captured, it will declare the opponent to win, or your side to win. Next up, the move piece. This basically dictates where the piece will move. So it just takes in four parameters: the current piece, the new position it wants to move into, and also the possible moves that it can make when it moves in from the current position it's in. There were two programs created within this function with similar functionality. The difference only being that one was created for AI and the other was created for the user. To move my piece, this just allows the user to grab the position of a piece by the mouse. Get piece just allows us to retrieve the piece object based on the row and column. This select function lets us actually select both for the AI and the user the piece that they want and where to move it. Change turns simply change turns. Get possible moves. This function allows every possible move that's allowed for one piece, whether it's left or right. And a key thing to note is that I did not implement any double or triple jumps in my program. Unfortunately, I did not have the time to implement that, and I wanted to focus on getting some type of AI functionality in S, since that was the focus of my project. The get possible moves just allows me to get actually all those possible moves Um, and then this function up here will just cover all scenarios for each possible move I can make for a piece. Lastly, the AI functionality is implemented together with the functionalities that I created. It will just take the best given move possible, and if those moves have tied, then it will allow you to. It will just choose the first one that it comes across, and a representation of my project. If I run it, so as you can see, we have a checkers board. If I move, you can see the AI moves as well. Key thing to note as well is that there are some bugs in this functionality, as you saw on the left, which I haven't had a time to take a look at. But for the majority of its part, this application does what it's intended, which allows you to play with an AI. Let me demonstrate a functionality where it will try to take over possible piece. As you can see there, when I move to this square, the next logical move for the AI was to take over my piece. And that's the project that I've created. Thank you.